Hi, this is Nola Claire from Phoenix, Arizona, and I am a patient of Dr. Margolis and Dr. Stephen Kovar. I have been going through some work with them, changing out 28 mercury fillings, the silver fillings that they put in your mouth, from many, many years ago. And finally, I decided to change them out into take the mercury out of my body. I had a health crisis a couple of years ago, which I couldn't figure out. I knew I should have had my silver fillings replaced many years ago. I'd just been putting it off. Gotta do it, gotta do it. Never really thought too much about it. And when I started talking to my doctors, when I got sick a couple of years ago, I went through tests, like just all kinds of tests and seeing specialists, and I had severe headache. I couldn't sleep. I mean, I had and I became very, very sick. When I started doing research on my own, and the doctors finally suggested, they did everything, and they suggested I see a psychiatrist. So that's when I started doing research on my own, and looking at the symptoms I was having, and they're talking about mercury, and I happened to, and I was seeing another person who wanted me to have some mineral testing. He thought maybe I had an imbalance of minerals. And so we went and did that. It was a hair analysis, and he said, well, you have a little bit of this or that in my mineral imbalance. And I turned the chart over, and there I'm looking at this toxic mineral chart that they had on me, and this high bar on the mercury. And I said, what about this? He said, well, don't worry about that. He's looking at minerals, you know. And I'm saying, but, you know, there's something wrong. I mean, why am I having this, this toxic mercury? And so I looked it up on my own, and I said, oh my gosh, that's what's going on with me. And the only thing that I could figure out was that I had, and I had been reading about this, that I had all these fillings in my mouth since I was a little child. So some of those fillings were at least 70 years old. And I decided that my body had been dealing with this off-gassing of mercury gas in my body for years and years and years, and it just finally had hit its crisis. I mean, the point where it couldn't take anymore, and I really went into a health spin. So no medical doctor, and I had the best internists and neurologists and stuff, top people, just would not connect my fillings to what was going on with me, and I finally just had to do it on my own. I had looked up Dr. Margolis through another website on he had been mentioned, and so I called him, and I had seen him a while back, and so I came back, and I decided to find some dentists that could help me that I had insurance for. And I kept seeing one dentist after another. They had no idea what I was talking about. So I came back to these folks, my dentist, and decided that it was the most important thing was for me to have people working on the amount of mercury that I had in my mouth, and the intense health crisis I had, by people who really knew what they were doing about removing mercury. I realized how important that was. So that was the #1 criteria. And I realized that these folks, knew what they were doing. My experience here has just been amazing. It's taken about 4 months over time, and we finally did the last one today. And I am mercury-free at the moment, and expect probably that that I'll have to be going through detox, over time, but that I now know that was what my medical doctors couldn't find, and even when I found it myself, they wouldn't admit there was anything to it. So the denial that goes on, and to find dentists like this, who biological dentists and integrative dentists, they call themselves, and if anyone, and I really mean that, has any suspicion that they are having mercury problems, just make sure you find the right people, because this has been wonderful. The care has been so well done. Dr. Kovar has taken every precaution. I'm just so amazed at this. They put a rubber dam, a rubber sheeting, they cut it, filled my whole mouth with it, so the whole time that they're working, none of that mercury can go back into my body. And they put an oxygen mask on me while the whole time we're doing the work. I'm breathing oxygen, and it's being, it's just been a very good experience, and I'm so happy that I did find these people. And talk about wonderful, environment here. It's so healthy, and they're into everything healthy. And I had so much fun in the dental chair with Dr. Stephen Kovar and Renee, his assistant, that I look forward to my dentist appointments. So there you go. I just can recommend these folks to everybody. And so thank you.
Come visit us and check out our office. Make an appointment and find out what we can do for you. We look forward to meeting you and seeing how we can achieve together optimal health.